Hi, and welcome to the next in the series of live webinars where we explore how you can use Minecraft in education. My name is Simon Johnson. I'm a former ICT and computing teacher, and I have several years' experience working in education. And I'm also a Minecraft Global Mentor. So in this session, we're going to explore how you can utilize some of the education-specific features in Minecraft, just how to make immersive experiences using those tools, and also explore how you can, you and your students can record and share what they've learned within Minecraft. So let's get started. So I mentioned in my previous webinars that Minecraft has been written from the ground up and with an education focus. So you'll find specific features such as secure login. So students will log in with their Office 365 account, and that also means that when they try to work collaboratively with other students, those students have to be on the same tenancy. So there's safeguarding built into the new version of Minecraft. You also have assessment tools like the portfolio and camera. We'll look at those during this session. Specific classroom settings that will be useful for managing the classroom environment when playing games such as Minecraft. And also features such as the code connections which allow you to code. And we'll explore that in more detail later on in the series when we look at the curriculum series. Well, I thought I'd start by exploring the classroom settings. So the classroom settings are kind of hidden in the settings menu. I'll quickly demonstrate this to show where you can find them, because it's not that obvious. So within Minecraft, if you have a world open, so this could be a game or lesson you're prepping for your students, if you press escape on your keyboard, it brings up your settings. So I'm going to click on my settings, and you have your modes. I'll talked briefly about the different game modes in the previous session. So you have creative, we have access to all the blocks, and survival, where you have to survive against the natural environment and also against the hostile mobs. And you also have your world preferences, so you can change things like make it always day and remove the daylight cycle. But hidden under the world settings, hovering on the left, you've got your game settings and you've got your classroom settings. And these are specific features designed to make your students' experience much better. So the first thing you can do is toggle on off cycle. So I often find that if you're using Minecraft for literacy activity, particularly narrative or creative writing, it's nice to have the day cycle, because when it gets dark, you get hostile mobs start to turn up, and it can get really engaging for the students. But if you're creating a world, so it could be a reenactment, or it could be a model of ancient Egypt or ancient Greece, then you don't want it to keep on changing day and night, so you can't actually see what you're doing. So it's nice to be able to turn that on and off. The same goes to weather. Weather is another immersive tool. So if you're exploring creative writing, narrative writing, when it rains, they'll hear the rain, they'll see the rain. It also, every now and again, thunders, so they'll hear the thunder in the background, the rumble, and they'll see the flash of lightning. So again, weather is great for engaging students and giving them an experience to write about. But again, if they're creating something, so trying to make a scale model or build something, they don't necessarily want to be distracted by weather, and again, not be able to see when it goes dark and there's thunder. Another useful feature is keep inventory. So it might be that at the start of the game, you give them specific items they need throughout the game. And if they're exploring in survival mode, the last thing you want is for them to accidentally fall off a cliff and then lose all their items. So by keeping inventory on, they'll always keep their items. Another useful feature in classroom mode is the allow mobs. So I mentioned in the previous session, mobs stands for mobile, and these are the living, moving entities within your game. So you have friendly mobs like sheep, and pigs and donkeys. And you also have those hostile mobs as well. So things like the creeper and zombies that are going to out to get you when it gets dark. Again, mobs are great for literacy activities, for writing about experiences. Also, it might be that mobs like animals are useful to the narrative. So I delivered a workshop with some students where we explored medieval Britain. And one of the key learnings from that was that the peasants had small land or small holdings, which meant one, they didn't have much land to keep their animals, and two, there was also concern about theft. So the animals would actually sleep in the peasants' huts next to their beds, and sometimes they had a little pen inside the house. So it was nice to be able to create the peasants' huts in Minecraft and actually place some pigs in there. So there might be occasions when you need the mobs, but again, sometimes it can be distraction, so you can switch those on or off. Another really useful feature is the allow or disallow destructive items. I mentioned in the previous session the word griefing. Griefing is unique to Minecraft, and it refers to those children that are set on causing mayhem in the Minecraft world, whether that's destroying other people's builds or stealing from other people's items. So to stop them from accidentally or deliberately destroying your hard work, especially if it's an exploration activity like a treasure hunt, then you can switch that button on to stop them from accidentally destroying your world. And the same goes for player damage and player versus player damage. So it protects them and stops them from killing each other. And you also have this one. Now we'll explore Immutable World later on when we look at some of the specific or special blocks, in particular the allow and disallow blocks. But basically, Immutable World means that nothing in that world can be destroyed. But it also means that when that's switched on, students can't place blocks as well. So unlike the destructive items, with this one, if they tap on something or try and break something, they can't break any items, but they can't place anything. So it means they can't build in that world as well. There are certain circumstances where that's useful, such as an exploration. So if you want students to explore the medieval world or explore ancient Egypt and go on a fact-finding mission, this is really useful. But then you want them to build their own pyramid in that world, then there are some better options, and we'll look at this feature in more detail a little later on. And then my favorite feature, again hidden in the classroom settings, is the resource link. So you can paste a link in here, so it could be to a website, it could be to a shared PowerPoint or shared OneNote. Anything that can be shared online can be pasted in here, and you can also create a button. So if I were to go back to my settings, when I go to pause by pressing escape, here I've got a button called Minecraft, and you can call it whatever you want. The students can click on that. So that could be your list of learning objectives. It could be a set of targets. It could be your rubric for assessment, or it just could be a link to a website or virtual tour outside of Minecraft to take students to the next level. That's really, really useful. I also want to share with you how students can record what they're learning in Minecraft. So I often get asked by educators, Minecraft's great, but how can we record those learning opportunities and have the students export what they've learned to something like a OneNote or PowerPoint, for example? So built into Minecraft are some specific features in the education version you won't find in what we call the vanilla or original version. One of these is chalkboards. So there's three types of chalkboard. There's the slate, the poster, and the board. And we'll look at these in a moment. You also have the camera. Now the students love the camera because they can take photos of things they've found. So if they're exploring the pyramids of Giza, they can take a photo of the pyramid and make some notes. But they can also take selfies in Minecraft as well. And I'll show you that shortly. You also have the portfolio. So the portfolio is like a book. that they can carry around with them in the Minecraft world. And whenever they take a photo, that photo will appear in the portfolio. They can then make notes about that. They can also put notes into their book and quill, and we'll look at that as well. And then finally, built into Minecraft and links to any items that contain text, so whether that's a book, whether it's a portfolio, it could be a poster or a sign, is the Immersive Reader. Some of you may be already familiar with Immersive Reader, having used it in Word or on OneNote Online. It's a really powerful, accessible tool, and I'll demonstrate this in a moment. So let's have a look at some of these features and how they can be used within the classroom. So the first one I want to explore is the chalkboards. So we have three types of chalkboard. We have a slate. These are great for instructions, so go this way, go that way. You have your posters. So if you need to share some information about a topic, or again, it could be the pyramids of Giza, and it could just be some information about why the pyramid, or why the River Nile was important to ancient Egyptian culture. You have the posters, and then you also have the boards. This is for lots more information. So to access these, all you do is you press E whilst in creative mode, and then you can, there's a nice little search facility, so I can search for poster, for example, and there we have them there, and I can click and drag that into my inventory. Or you can just scroll down and find them. They're usually grouped together. So there we have. So we have our slate, our poster, and our board. So I'm going to copy one of each. And let's have a poster as well. And then I can select my items by either using my scroll wheel on my mouse, or if I haven't got a scroll wheel, I can use the corresponding number on my keyboard. So 1 will be the slate, 2 poster, and 3 my board. So if I wanted to paste my slate, I can either place it on the ground, and it will also remember the angle that you posted it. So if I wanted it to face forward, I can paste like that, and then put a little message on there this way. Let's do a little arrow. I can also put them at an angle as well. So if I want to put it in the corner, again, right click and put a little message in. You can also notice at the bottom, you've got a button that says locked or unlocked. These posters and slates or chalkboards can be made editable. So I'll give you an example of that in a moment where this is really useful. But if it's just a message or information, you want to lock that so the students can't change it, especially if they're working collaboratively in the same world. And you can also place them on a wall. So if I find a wall here, I can right click. I have my cursor pointing at the block that I want to attach it to, and I can attach it like so, and I can write down on the wall. Like so. So as well as providing information or introducing students to the next task or the learning objectives, you can also make these editable. So here I have 3 different shapes, solids and a liquid, and the challenge is for the students to write down the volume for each of the shapes. So shape 1, so I'm using my slate to identify each of the objects. Shape 2 and shape 3. So look at the first one, so it's 1 by 3, so that should be 3. Now, because if I right click on this, if I unlock that, the students can then write their answers on the board. So we put in there 3, and we go to our next one, so that's 2 by 2, and then write our answers in there, and then at the end we can take a photo, and I'll show you in a moment, to share with our teacher. You could also use it for literacy, so you could have a prompt. So if I put, I'm going to use a board this time, which is bigger, so I need a slightly bigger wall. I can right click and I'm going to unlock it so students can edit. So you can start a passage. So it could be once upon a time in Minecraft, ... And the students can then fill in the rest of the story. So chalkboards are really, really useful as a tool for sharing objectives, providing information, or have the students write down their answers. The next useful tool for recording is the book and quill and the portfolio. I'm going to look at the portfolio first. So the portfolio, if I go press on E on my keyboard, and I just do a search for portfolio, like so. I'm going to place that into my inventory. Whilst that's in my hand, if I right click on that, here you can see some pictures I've taken, and I can write some captions. I can use it to create a log of all the things I've done, or all the things I've seen, or some of the facts that I've found out. So linked to the portfolio is the camera. So the camera tool, like the portfolio, is a specific feature only found in the education version of Minecraft. So again, I'm going to press E to go to my inventory, and I'm going to search for my camera. And there's two ways that you can use the camera. So I'm going to place that into my pockets, my inventory. You can, first of all, I'm going to select by using my scroll wheel, or I can again use the number pad to select my camera. I could take a photo. So I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to visit the pyramids. So here we have our pyramids, and we've got a tour guide. So I'm going to take a photo first. So I can either right click with my mouse with my camera in my hand, and I'll take a photo of what's in front of me, or, this is a really nice feature, I can turn around, right round, and I can right click and place my camera on the floor. And then if I right click on the camera itself, it will take a photo, and I have a selfie in front of the pyramids. So I can now right click on my NPC. So it tells me the pyramids of Giza were royal tombs built for 3 different pharaohs. And the largest of the 3 pyramids, called the Great Pyramid, was originally 471 feet high. So I have my portfolio in my hand. So I can right click on my portfolio, and I can find that picture. I'm going to choose my selfie picture. I'm going to put a caption in there, and I'm going to put in Great Pyramid and 471 feet high. So I can make notes to remind myself later on when it comes to writing up about what I've learned, and I can put that into my portfolio. I can also, when I've finished and I've got all my notes and got my pictures, I can export that portfolio, and I can save that as a PDF into my documents, or to a shared drive. So it could be a cloud drive, OneDrive, Google Drive. So I've got that to use once I've finished in Minecraft, ready for the next lesson or the next learning objective. And there we go. So bind together both the portfolio and the camera, a really powerful tool for recording what the students have learned and then exporting those later. But there is another tool in Minecraft called the book and quill. So with the portfolio, you find that you have your photos and you've got a small area for your captions, but there's not much more area to write long descriptions, or to write a story, or lots of facts. So excuse me, in addition to the portfolio, you've got the book and quill. So if I go to my inventory and type in book, like so, so we have our book and quill, not to be confused with the standard book. So we have our book and quill. I'm going to place that into my inventory like so. And if I right click on that with it in my hand, I've now got a much larger area for writing. So I could use this to record facts. So for example, there are 3 pyramids in Egypt, in Giza. The largest is called the Great Pyramid. But I can also, as well, if I click on this button here, the edit button, I can also add photos. So if I click on the camera button, I can select a photo from my wonderful photo library. So I'm going to choose, this time instead of my selfie, I'm going to choose the one with the tour guide, and I can put that in. So I've got a picture of my Great Pyramid that I found, and I'm going to put in some facts. It's also great for story writing. So you can have the students, imagine you've put them in survival mode and they've got to survive their first night, and you want them to write about their experience of what they did, what they saw, what they felt, and they can write those as notes in their book. So they can put in, I started to build my house when all of a sudden it started to rain heavily. I started to get scared because it was dark and the nasty creepers come out at night. Okay. So I can use my book and quill to record, just like with a portfolio, what I've seen, record some facts. I can use it to record my experiences, and I can also use it to write a story. So it could be that you've asked the students to create their own version of the 3 Little Pigs. So you might have a house made out of bricks and a house made out of straw, and one made out of wood, and then the students role play and then create their own version of the story. Now, once you've got that book, there's a couple of things you can do with it. The first one, and my favorite one, is in Minecraft there is a lectern. So if I go to my options and press E and I search for lectern, like so, I'm going to place my lectern in my world. I can take my book and I can right click on the lectern and I can place that on my lectern. So when a student walks up to that book and then right clicks on it, they can read my story. That's because I've got 2. Let's get rid of that and put in my other book. There we go. So there's my picture of my tour of Egypt and the information, the facts I found. There's my description of my first night in Minecraft, and there's the start of my story. You could also use this. Imagine if you're exploring a book, so it could be Oliver Twist, or it could be the Gruffalo. You could put an extract inside a book, and then the children will then go around, imagine the Gruffalo forest, and they meet the Gruffalo and they read the first chapter. So they've met the owl, and then they go and walk through the forest and they'll find a large snake, and they read the next chapter about the snake, and they'll also meet the fox, and they'll find another chapter where they can read. So you can use it to place parts of the story. You could also place information in there. So instead of having a tour guide telling me about Egypt and the ancient pyramids, you can have a book with information and photos in there. So that's really useful. But the other really nice feature, I stole this from a colleague of mine, another Minecraft mentor, who, when the children finished, if I open my book, When you finish, you can click on sign. Now, just a word of warning with this, if I place my book on the lectern, I can then still edit it, and I can still edit my version and update it. But when you've finished, you can sign it. But once you've signed it, you can't change it. So you probably think, well, why do you want to do this? And I'll show you why. So I'm going to click on sign, and I've got my book title. So I'm going to just call it Egypt. And it's got the author, and that's taken from your my Office 365 login. And then when I click on sign and close, it turns like a fluorescent purple, nice little glow. A colleague of mine, Simon Badley, he's done a lot of work around literacy, particularly in Minecraft. And what he would do, he would challenge his students to write a short story in Minecraft, and then he would all write about their experiences in survival mode, almost like a Robinson Crusoe diary. And then once they finished writing their short story, sign their book, and then the teacher would place, and I'm going to go back to my inventory, letter E, they place a chest in the Minecraft world, like so. And then I get all the students to place the books in the chest. And then the next lesson, we'd have the students all go into the same world, open the chest, pick a book at random, and then read out the story. Or they can do a book critique and create another book and quill, and write some feedback, or some peer assessment, and then return that to the chest. Really nice little feature. So that's the book and quill, the portfolio, and the camera. And before I move on to the next feature, so looking at slightly more advanced features, I mentioned that one more feature that's built into Minecraft is the Immersive Reader. So if I go back to my book here, notice in the bottom right-hand corner we have this book and audio icon. This is the Immersive Reader. So if I wanted to read this aloud, I could click on that button. So as I said before, the Immersive Reader is an accessibility tool. So I can have Minecraft read my story aloud.
There are 3 pyramids in Giza. The largest is called the Great Pyramid. Page 3 of 4. I started to build my house when...
And as I said, as an accessibility tool, there's some really nice features. So if a student doesn't recognize a word, they can click on it and it'll load up the picture dictionary. So that's what a house looks like, or a school house as well. A pyramid. So there we can see what a pyramid looks like. You also have, under the text preferences up here, if a child needs to use a coloured overlay to help them with the reading, they can pick the overlay and that will load automatically in Minecraft. It also saves, so it remembers for the next time. You can also change the font too. Comic Sans, as an ICT and computing teacher, I used to hate Comic Sans from a design perspective, but then from teaching students, especially with dyslexia and dyscalculia, I realised how important it was, especially the way that the little a is written. You also have some grammar options, so you can have the students identify key parts of speech, such as nouns, adjectives and verbs. And then also my favourite piece, feature within the Immersive Reader is the ability to translate. So if I wanted to, I could translate my short story into French.
J'ai commencé à construire ma maison quand, tout d'un coup, il a commencé à pleuvoir abondamment.
So pretty much anything you interact with that has text has this little icon here you can click on. The only thing that doesn't, but still has the Immersive Reader, is text on chalkboards. So if I were to point at this, if I right click on it, nothing happens. But if I press the letter I on my keyboard, it will bring up the Immersive Reader. So I'll repeat that. So on most objects, With text, you have the Immersive Reader icon, except for chalkboard, where you have to press the letter I to launch the Immersive Reader. And there you go. So, as well as the education-specific features, there's also some features in Minecraft that are going to help, especially when you have students exploring your world for the first time. One of the problems I found the first time I used Minecraft was that I'd create a door with a switch, and the students would have to click on the switch to open the door, and it add elements of excitement and intrigue, what's behind the door. And the first thing the student would do is press the switch with the left mouse button and accidentally destroy it, and then they can't get in the door, so I have to come along and either reset the world or put a new switch on there. It's really, really frustrating. So there's some things that you can do to make your students' experience, especially the first time they use Minecraft, a lot more friendly. So included in the Education Edition version of Minecraft, you have two special blocks. One's called allow and the other one's called deny. I'm sure you can guess what they can do, but I'll explore those in a moment. You also have border blocks. So the problem with Minecraft is because it's an open world, students can literally walk and wander off forever. So it's like your worst field trip. Imagine having to write rules for going on a trip in Minecraft. But thankfully you can actually put together a world which has a border, an invisible border that stops them from wandering off. And you also have non-player characters or NPCs. So NPCs can be placed in the games to provide information, give directions, and also link to other useful resources. So I'm going to explore those each individually. Now, these three special blocks require special permissions in Minecraft. So before you can actually access these blocks and use them, you have to change your permissions. So you become like a super teacher. I'm going to explore in the next session, the advanced session, some more commands that you can use to make your learning experiences more engaging. But the one that I'm going to teach you today is called World Builder, and it's really simple. I either press the letter T to bring up the chat menu. So I did that again. So T to bring up the chat menu, or you can press the / on your keyboard. Either works. And then I put in the command /W and B, which stands for World Builder. I'll do that again. So letter T to bring up the chat, and you press / and it's WB for World Builder. This kind of gives you, as a teacher, superpowers, and it also gives you access to some of these special blocks. So the first block I want to show you is the border block. So notice here we have some red blocks. You can access them from the inventory, so I press letter E, and I'm going to type border, like so. I'm going to drag some border blocks into my world, and I can place those anywhere in my world. So I can place them like so, or like so, like a physical barrier. And if I go back and change my world status back to, so I do WB again to turn off my superpowers, if I were to try and jump over that, it's not going to let me. I can't get past it. Even if I try and fly, I'm in creative mode, I can't get past that block. So you create a physical barrier, almost like an invisible wall around the area that you want. So again, if you explore the pyramids, you can keep them focused around the pyramids and stop them from exploring and disappearing and having to try and find them. As I said, try and imagine writing a risk assessment for Minecraft. Now, these borders can be slightly distracting. So if you create this really beautiful world, you don't particularly want these red walls around Minecraft. These walls will work above and below the block that you place. So you don't have to place them directly in front of the students. You can actually place them underground. I'll demonstrate this now. So I'm going to switch on my superpowers again, remember /B, I'm going to destroy his blocks, and instead this time I'm going to dig underground, and you can dig as far as you want, so I'm going to dig slightly lower. I'm going to place my blocks in here, like so. There's my border blocks, and then I'm going to place some dirt on top just to hide them, like so. Let's have a path, and if I turn off my superpowers, remember / and WB, and I try to go past, it won't let me pass. But it's not that obvious at first that those blocks are there. You just see occasionally these little red stars that fly up to indicate that those blocks are working. So if I were to go this way, I can go past, and I can go that past way, but I cannot cross the bridge. Thou shalt not pass. So that's the border block. That's really, really useful. The second block I'm going to show you is the deny block. So remember how I said that students often find it frustrating when they go into Minecraft, and I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to just place a block, and I'm going to put, I'm going to inventory, and I'm going to put a switch on it. So imagine this switch is going to, or lever, imagine this lever is going to open the door. Normally, put that into my inventory, the student would right click on the lever to operate it. The problem is if you press left click, if those remember, in Minecraft, left click destroys. So if they accidentally press the left click because they forgot they need to press the right button, it will destroy the button and I can't open my door. So it can be really, really frustrating. So what you can do is you can place deny blocks under anything that you don't want to be accidentally destroyed. So if I look on here, I have a switch above a deny block, and if I left click, notice it goes hazy black, and it won't let me left click and accidentally destroy it. But I can right click to my heart's content. Again, I can't destroy, and nor can I place blocks either. So if I try and place a block in this area, it won't let me. So I'll demonstrate that. So again, you need world builder. So you put / and WB to have your superpowers. And then I'm going to go to my inventory, letter E, and I'm going to search for allow deny blocks, like so. And I'm going to place my blocks. And I'm going to put a block on top with a switch, with a lever on it, like so. And then if I turn off my superpowers, remember, bring up the chat and /WB, and right click on that, and left click, I can't destroy it. But again, it doesn't look very nice. Let's say you do medieval Britain, that might look like a medieval floor, but if you're doing ancient Egypt, you won't want these blocks at the bottom of a pyramid. It looks out of place. So just like the border blocks, they kind of inherit their powers above and below where they're placed. So if I go back and turn on my world building superpowers, I'm just going to destroy this, and I'm going to dig down this time, like so, and I'm going to place my blocks down here like so, and I'm going to cover them up with some dirt so you can't see them, and I'm going to place my block on here with my lever, like so. I can then turn off my superpowers, and again, if I try and left click and destroy it, I can't accidentally destroy that switch, but I can still turn it on and off. So that's a really, really useful feature, especially when children are using Minecraft for the first time. But even I haven't used Minecraft for years. I still sometimes accidentally left click and destroy something, and then pull my hair out and have to reattach it again. Then the other block is the allow block. And you're probably thinking, well, where would I use the allow block? Because I've put the deny blocks there, but I can still place blocks anywhere else. So imagine you've created, you spent hours, or your students have spent hours in Minecraft Club creating a world. So it could be medieval Britain, or it could be ancient Egypt. And you don't want children to accidentally, when exploring the world, accidentally destroy blocks or deliberately destroy blocks with fire or lava or TNT, or accidentally destroy lots of switches. And you haven't got the time to go around and place deny blocks under the whole world. One, it's not feasible, and two, it takes way too much time. So what you can do instead is you can make the whole world immutable. So remember, when I pressed on escape, I talked about the settings at the start. You have your special classroom settings, and there's a button called immutable world. When that's ticked on, if I go back to my game, what happens is I can't place blocks anywhere. I can't destroy any blocks. I can't accidentally destroy my switch. So that's really useful if you're having students explore. So if it's just a fact-finding mission, Immutable World is fantastic. But let's say you want them to explore medieval Britain, and they've looked at some medieval houses, and your next challenge is for them to build their own medieval style house in Minecraft. Well, because it's immutable, they can't do that. So what you can do is, if I turn off Immutable World, just to start off with, so I can build again. So remember, it's under the classroom settings, and I scroll down and turn it back off so I can start building and destroying. What you can do is you can create an area where the students can build, even if it's immutable, but using the allow blocks. So if I put those in like so, and I'm going to search for, so letter E, allow, like so. And again, it inherits. I need to be in World Builder, so I need to put superpowers on, like so. And then you can cover that up so the students don't know it's there. And I'm going to put a little sign that says, build your house here. Or it could be the three little pigs, and they follow the story, and they're going to build their house of straw or bricks or wood. Now, if I turn off my superpowers and then go back to my settings and turn on Immutable World, so classroom settings, like so, I should be able to place blocks there, which I can, so I can build my nice little house, but then if I try and place it anywhere else, I can't. So it's really, really useful if you want to protect your build that you and your students have spent hours working on, and you don't want to accidentally destroy, but you can create that little area for them to continue the story, to build a house or whatever it is that you're challenging to do. So that's the deny and allow block. And the last one I want to explore in this session is the NPC. So NPCs are great for enhancing the experience for your students. So NPC stands for non-player character. And these are characters that you can engage with in the game. They can provide information, but they can also provide links to other resources. So to create an NPC, and this is what frustrates a lot of teachers when they first start, and students when they first start using Minecraft, is the NPC, and I'm just going to turn off, I'm just going to make sure I've got World Builder set on. Yep. So with World Builder turned off, if I go to my inventory, I can actually find the NPC block or egg. It always makes you smile out. Children think that everything comes from eggs, even sheep and dogs and cows and polar bears. But if I find the NPC egg, I can then right-click as if it was spawning another mob, like a sheep or pig, and nothing happens. It won't let me. It might be because Immutable World's set on as well. Let me just check that. So it won't let me. I just seem to wave my arm in the air. So if I just go back and change my settings, classroom, and turn off Immutable World, So if I were to find another egg, so if I go to letter E and search for maybe a chicken, there's my chicken spawner. And if I right to click on my chicken, I can have lots and lots of chickens, more chickens that you need, but my NPC doesn't work. And this can frustrate people to start off with. It's because you need the world builder or teacher superpower to be able to use the NPC. So remember letter T and /WB for world builder. Once that's set to true, I can then place my NPC. So right click, and there we have an NPC. If I right click on that, I can change the name. So let's have tour guide. I can also change the skin. So there's different types of skins. So we've got, I think these are doctors. We have a robot. I believe we have some new skins in there. So we've got some workers as well. And the beekeeper. Let's have the beekeeper, like so. And so I've got my name. I've chosen my skin. I can also edit the dialogue. So this could be your message. So it could be, if it was the tour guide at the pyramids, some information about the pyramids. If it was, it could be a welcome character to introduce the students to the main task or the learning objectives, or to remind them of the assessment criteria. So I'm just going to put a brief message, welcome to Bee World. Today you are going to find out about bees. And then close it then. So we have a name, some information, a skin. We've also got advanced settings. So you can, if you wanted to, add a link to a website. So you could send them to the Minecraft website, education.minecraft.net. So this could be, and you can copy and paste as well from the clipboard. So you can copy a website and then paste it into the URL. And then we can also add a button. So give the button a name. So we'll say learn more. So that could be a link to a website, it could be to a YouTube video, it could be to a shared file, so it could be a OneNote with more information, or OneNote for students to collaborate on, or it could be a collaborative PowerPoint, a OneNote, whatever you want. Like so. So if I now close down my NPC, I'm going to switch off World Builder, so no longer edit. This is what the students will see. Remember, T to bring up the chat, and then /WB. If I right click on my NPC, there's my message. There's my button. If I click on that, that should take me to the Minecraft website. There we go. And also, like I said before, it also has the built-in immersive reader.
Welcome to Bee World. Today you are going to find out about bees. Smiley face.
I wasn't expecting that. I've never done that before. Smiley face. So those are just some of the features that you can use within Minecraft to enhance the teaching and learning experience, and also make the game more friendly for students who have never played the game before, and teachers too. So if you found that guide useful and you want to learn out more, or if you missed some of the previous sessions, the first thing we'd recommend you do is go to the official website. That's education.minecraft.net. Sign up, it's free. If you use social media, you can tweet us at playcraftlearn. And also, we have a list of all the upcoming activities, so webinars. So we've got an advanced one next week that looks at using commands and to make truly immersive experiences, especially for literacy. And then future webinars include curriculum-specific focuses, like looking at the computer curriculum, English, science, and maths. Don't worry, you don't need to scan this. We will share these links later, and we'll also share this in the YouTube playlist as well. If you want to get certified, you want to learn more about Minecraft and explore the controls, look at how you can use games in education, not just Minecraft, and more of the advanced features, and check out the Minecraft Education Edition Teacher Academy. We've also recently launched a new free community for UK educators where you'll find educator resources, news and updates for build challenges, and you'll be the first to find out about the latest competitions. You'll also get support from other educators and experts too, including global mentors, and you can access that via aka.ms/Minecraft-edu UK community. It's case sensitive. Again, you can scan the QR code and we will share the link, and that's completely free. And finally, if you found today's session useful and you want to find out more, next week, or not next week, it's the week after, so June half-term week, the 23rd, we'll be looking at some more advanced features. So here you can use commands to change things like the weather instantly or change the time of day, and also exploring something called redstone to create some simple circuits. So if you're interested in that, or you've got some friends or colleagues that you think might be interested in that, please share the link. So it's ak.ms/Minecraft-edu ed. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next in our series of Minecraft education webinars.